Hi guys, and welcome back to the Talk Real Talk.
Hi guys, did you miss us? Do you think we missed them? Did you miss them?
I miss them, but I don't think they miss you. They miss me because I've not been here for 2 episodes now.
Go
but
back.
I'm back on your screen. Shout out to Jason for filling our big shoes.
Shout out Jason.
Yeah, but we're back on your screen and we are your host with the most. I'm Ibukunlua Ontiga.
And I, Omawana Ladikaka. Yeah, let's get right into it. So on today's episode, we're going to be talking about communication. Now, we all know that communication is essential. It's a part of everyday human life. Even if you don't talk to others, you're going to talk to yourself. Communicate within yourself. So we're going to be talking about communication after divorce. And I feel like we are licensed to talk about this because we are communication students.
And soon to be
experts. Like, don't play with us. Yeah,
well, and you know that communication after divorce is often difficult between the parents. But for co-parenting to work good, there must be healthy dialogue.
Yes. Okay, and you're actually so right, and that is why this is also a participatory podcast. You know, we always like to include our audience into whatever we're talking about, like the episodes, into each episode. So we're going to, as usual, we sent out a survey and we got some anonymous responses, so we're just going to be talking about them. Now, this person, response 1, says we only communicate through text because direct conversations become arguments. Now I'm going to think this is parents, like she's a parent or this person is a parent, and
communicating through text, I don't know how I feel about that, but I feel like everybody has what works for them, right? From my own point of view, I don't work well with texting. I want a confrontation, a healthy one. I want to talk to you. I want to understand you. And sometimes there's a lot that your facial expression can do to me. I want to see genuineness. I want to see compassion. I want to see affection, right? So I don't know if I would settle for texting. Like, it just seems very, and I might, misread a lot of things. You might not mean it this way, and I might take it this way. So I just believe more in, face-to-face conversations. But mind you, I know a lot of people that work well with texting. I see beautiful texters, and that's what works for them. So I think, I understand where she's coming from.
Yeah, okay. Another thing I want to say, I think because human beings are a layered species, so maybe communicating, there are just some people that you see and you want to break their head. And it's like, if I already want to break your head and you now say something that would just trigger me, I might just break your head there and then. We're not promoting violence, you guys. Peace always. At all. But we're just saying that maybe this is what works for some people, and no shade, no hate. If that's what works for you and it's bringing peace all around to both parties, then yes. But I do get where you're coming from, saying that I think, because I really do believe communication is better in person. But if the last resort is over text, then so be it, I guess.
Of course, I agree with you. I mean, we're different persons, like you already have mentioned, different people, and so the conversation might be even very heated, and it's not something you need to see each other for that particular time. So many people even ask for space because they know what they can say or do when they are very, very annoyed. So I think, respecting what would work best for the both of you is what matters. If you think texting is the best thing for you, please do it. If you think face-to-face conversation is what you need, please do it. And if you also think calling is what you need, please do it. If you need counseling, if you need therapy, please do it. There are different ways to communicate with your partner and make sure everything is good. But one thing I would mention is, do not necessarily communicate through your children, because a lot of divorced couples do that thing. A lot of separated people, they do it a lot because you cannot confront the father or the mother about this particular thing. You go through your child. Is your child okay with it? How is your child feeling? What are you teaching that child, right? And I just feel like whatever is between two of you is between two of you, and do not involve the child, so you don't mess with their mental health.
I think so. I agree with you. Like, don't involve your child with delicate subject matters. If it's like oh, remind your dad that he's taking you to soccer practice on Tuesday. That's okay, that's fine. But this things like, oh, remember that I have not paid your school fees all day.
Exactly.
Like, why are you telling you? Don't do that. Don't do that to that child, that poor innocent child. That child has nothing to do with
whatever is going on between the two of you.
Your ex-partner are doing. Yeah. So let's go to response 2.
Yeah.
This person says, learning how to communicate without emotions taking over changed everything. I'm also thinking this person is a parent. Oh, these are all parents' responses.
Want to read that again?
Learning how to communicate without emotions taking over changed everything.
Yeah.
That's
That's very important. What do you think about it?
I think, okay, so I feel like the shift from this person being your safe person, your safe space, the shoulder that you cry on, to this person being just an ordinary person that you now have to share responsibilities with. There's obviously a drastic change and a drastic shift in responsibilities and like in reality. But then understanding that emotions aren't going to help, especially if the divorce is fresh, if the separation is fresh, because what you're feeling will be, especially if the divorce is not an amicable one, then there's anger, resentment, hatred even. So I think maybe putting your emotions aside and actually thinking with a clear head, with logic and a little bit of empathy, because you need to see things from your partner's perspective sometimes, from your ex-partner's perspective sometimes. That is going to help. So it's a very hard reality to adjust to, but at the end of the day, I think it's necessary. Like, you can't, if it's fresh, you can't think with your emotions, because it's just going to make matters worse. Just to add to what you said, I feel like this is also very, very necessary with people that have shared responsibilities. Now, after like the legal case, and then it comes down to a 50-50, what then do? You cannot use your emotions all the time, because you now have to understand that this is a child we're talking about, these are children we're talking about. It's not just about my feelings, it's not just about me, it's not just about two of us now. It's about what we would do together to make sure that our child has the best, upbringing, right? So now, if you are using too much of your emotions, it might play a major role in how this child will come about, right? So you need to understand that there are some things that you need to set aside to make your child have a better life, right? So just like in the case of 50-50, you need to calm down, understand your partner. Obviously this thing is fresh sometimes. You're still pained about this particular. So it can be the worst way to end things with your partner. But guess what? You need to compromise. Because imagine the child has to go stay with the father for some period of days, and now you're getting mad because you do not want your child to stay with somebody you so resent, right? But you need to understand, the court has literally said it's 50-50. The child can stay with the father and the child can stay with the mother. You need to understand that I'm not the only parent in this person's life, right? So I need to, give my child that space to enjoy, what he has now, right? And just put your emotions aside. And I know it's very hard, but we just have to deal with it. I think our response and our take on this second person's answer kind of ties into the third comment that we got. And the third one says, my child has become more stable ever since we stopped fighting. Because you can't be around a child, no matter how old the child is, and continue fighting as the child's parent. That's not healthy. It's not healthy for you, because I can only imagine the stress you go through, the mental stress you go through fighting this person that was once your person every single time, and then your child is seeing this, like, what do you want? The child, sometimes divorce is necessary, and I think people are better when they're separated. Yes.
Like I mentioned before, healthy dialogue is what matters. The reason why you're separated, the separation itself doesn't matter after divorce. It doesn't matter after divorce. Now, how do you communicate to make things better, right? I feel like speaking from my own perspective, after my parents separated, and it was very hard for me and my brother, right? But the moment my mommy took that decision to make peace, right, with the whole complaining to us about what you did, not necessarily even voicing out to your children, that's not the problem. The problem is, take the phone, tell your dad that we need to pay school fees, right? Or what's it called? You want to go and see your daddy. When you're done, I don't want to see you guys again, right? She was still healing, right? And we understood. Now, not every child would understand the pain of their mother and their father, right? But still, it still played a major role in how, I and my brother lived. Because we're always thinking, should we go and talk to mommy? Should we be in a bad mood? Should we go and see daddy? Mommy won't like that, right? So it was more like we lived for them. We lived for their emotions. And I'm like, this is not how children are supposed to live their lives. And I feel like the moment my mommy and my daddy decided to make things calm, they chose peace over emotions. That has been the best, it's been the best life so far. I don't have to think about, mommy and daddy fighting anymore, because they understand how parenting works now. And I feel like I am now happier, and my brother as well. And so yes, I definitely understand where that rest is coming from personally.
Okay, now because of time, we're just going to head into like our own segment, I guess. Okay, so now that we've gotten all these responses, I think it's only fair if we kind of give our thoughts on how parents can improve communication. Co-parents can improve their communication skills.
Okay, I've been mentioning that healthy dialogue is very important. And the question is, what to do to achieve that healthy dialogue. So I think prioritizing your child's well-being is very important. We've been saying the same thing over and over again, and we cannot overemphasize how important that point is. You have children, you have a child, you need to think so much about their future. I'm not saying you've lived your own life to the fullest, but I think as there's this coming into life and saying you want to give birth to a child, you already know the emotional responsibility and maturity you need to take care of that child. So prioritizing your child's well-being would help you communicate better, because you'll just be like, let me just put some things aside, right? I don't like this decision I'm about to make, but I'm not going to think about myself and my ex-husband. I'm going to think about my child. So if my child smiling is going to mean I have to speak to this man on the call for 5 hours, I would have to do it just to make sure that my child is happy, right? So yes, the child's well-being, prioritizing the child's well-being is one way that your communication will definitely be better, because you would you think more about the child than yourself.
Okay, and I also wanted to add that at the end of the day, perfect communication is not what we're looking for. It's productive communication, because there needs to be a way forward when you're having talks and conversations with the co-parents. There needs to be a way forward, because at the end of the day, I think it's a thing of ego. You need to put your ego aside and understand your duty, your role as a parent, so that your child, because at the end of the day, the only reason why you're tied to this person is because of your child. So might as well just make your child happy, and I trust me, if your child is happy, you will be sane. There will be sanity in that house. Yes,
I agree. And I feel like keeping direct conversations, like direct communication is the best as well. Because if you decide, there are different type of parents after divorce, right? There are the ones that would say, you know what, I don't care about what's happened between us, right? I would drop my child over at the ex-husband's house. Like, you get, I feel like there are different type of parents. The ones that would want to just live happily, right? I can even go out with my ex-husband with my child. And they're the ones that just want direct conversation. Oh, good afternoon, hello, how you doing, how's family? I just want to remind you about the child's school fees and everything. You do not have to beat around the bush. Have conversations, healthy ones. You don't have to be all around the person. It's not a thing of perfect communication. Just do it, and do it for your sanity and for your child as well.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we've come to the end of today's segment, today's episode. This is a very good episode.
Yeah, I
if I
enjoyed
do
this
say so myself. Okay, so you guys, we'll meet you next week. And don't worry, we'll be together.
Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode of We Talk
Real Talk. See ya, guys.